But yeah, I picked up the rod and I thought, I'm snagged. And I'm sort of bending into it. I'm like, it is moving. Don't get a take now. Do not get a take now. Just at that moment, rod's just absolutely melted off. Melted off. Well, that time I put a seagull in your van, you didn't find that funny either.
Guys, a warm welcome back to the podcast. In the studio, I have Harry Charrington, Scott Day, Lewis Porter, and Mark Pitchers makes his return. We get into Mark's early angling, catching the biggest common in the UK, among other targets. And of course, we've got some hilarious stories that only Mark can tell. Kick back, relax, and enjoy.
I only ever talk to myself in the third person when I'm like telling myself off.
Yeah.
What are you doing, Charrington?
Really?
Yeah.
I've never done that.
No, you'd say pictures, wouldn't you?
Never done that.
Like when I've done
Not
my
once.
fifth cast into the trees at Green Acres, I'm like, for fuck's sake, Lewis, you're such a shit at fucking casting.
I have heard those outbursts in the past.
I've never ever referred.
No, you'd blame someone else normally.
Yeah.
And blame yourself.
Even though there's no one there.
I just phoned someone up. You twat!
What have I done? You just have. Miss the clip, call up the missus.
Yeah. Yeah. Mr. Clip, phone. Charrington, you twat!
Everyone's going to get a phone call now. Oh, man, yeah, you fucking idiot. I'll be interested. The phone will just go down.
I took the wrong fucking turning on the way home, you twat. It's your fault. If I'd left 10 minutes earlier, I wouldn't have been in that position.
That should be a thing. Should make that a thing. Next time you fuck up, phone someone else.
Blame them. Just blame them.
Then just hang up before the episode.
Yeah.
Just hang up.
Yeah. That would be funny.
Yeah, you should have a nominated person.
I'm pretty sure we can do that in our
I'm
films.
pretty good at blaming somebody else.
Who would you like to call up and blame? Like, say,
Just
I don't know,
vent
you've just had a hook pull. Who are you going to blame?
Drop.
Drop.
Bloody hell, Leon. I've just had a hook pull and it's all your fault.
That'd be so cool. Definitely do this. That'd be cool.
Let's do it now. Let's speakerphone somebody now and just blame them for something and hang up and see what we're... Go on.
Fucking hell, Mozza.
Yes.
Yeah, go on, do this.
Are you going to ring?
Mozza.
Oh, right, yeah. Oh, that's who I call it. If one fell off,
Put it near the mic, Lou, so we could.
if a fish fell off, it would be Mozza. Fucking
hang
hell,
up on him.
Moz.
He's not blaming him for anything. Just
Just
have a go at him.
Fuck's sake, Moz. Are you just going to put the phone down then?
Yeah.
Be shit if he doesn't answer.
Hello, mate.
Bloody hell, Mozza. I've just fucked up on this podcast because of you.
Don't explain that.
Just
Don't
leave
explain
it.
that.
you back.
Yeah, don't explain it or talk to another. Yeah. Yeah, you can't tell him the reason why, yeah?
Don't
Don't
him
you spit your brew
have to
out.
turn your phone off now because
you can imagine just looking at his phone like,
What the fuck? Yeah, Lou, you can't tell him now. You can't
Yeah, just leave it now.
just leave it, and he'll only notice when he watches this.
I can hear him now in his house going.
You can't answer it.
To answer it?
no, you can't.
No.
You've got to leave it.
Or
leave it.
Just leave
answer
it.
it and just say, I'm not
Just leave
fucking
it.
speaking to you now.
No, just leave it. Just don't answer it. He won't know until he watches the podcast then. And then he'll work out why. Yeah.
You feel guilty now, don't you? I can see you feel well guilty.
No, leave it. He'll be squirming now. Sorry, Moz.
Poor Moz.
Sorry, Mozza. I
Poor
apologise.
Mozza.
I apologise.
Butt of our joke.
Yeah.
I mean, as if he's never.
I wasn't
done
even
any
going to do it to
time.
you. I didn't even. Your name didn't even come into my head until Scott said your name, and then I was like, "You would be the perfect person to do it to."
It's only because Moz is good at the old prank, and remember the old phone calls he used to do.
Oh yeah.
And that time I hid his
I've got
hook
them on my
sharpener
phone.
at Linear. And that time I hid his hook sharpener at Linear. That kicked off.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't really. I just remember it was.
Don't start. That.
Oh, he blamed you.
I didn't
Don't,
really.
Don't.
But I got the
start
blame
that.
for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did.
He sent me him the other week, actually. I was asking for him. You know, the old phone.
Oh,
calls.
with him in Fairbrass, who's like, didn't he record Danny's voice in that, didn't he?
At some point, we'll get him on the podcast and we will play those.
We'll get him on, but we won't tell him that we're going to have Simo on at the same time, and then they can sort their beef out live on podcast.
Yeah.
Oh, it's such good fun together.
They were good.
What, has
times.
Mozza and Simo got beef now?
Yeah, don't
They've had beef for a while,
for
yeah.
a while, yeah.
Didn't know they had
Yeah.
beef.
Yeah.
I thought they were...
I think it was when like Mozza put like 12 chickens in his van or something, and he
I put loads of ducks in his van. They were shitting
that
all
was it.
over
Yeah,
the
they
show.
shit
Yeah.
everywhere.
Well, that time I put a seagull in your van, you didn't find that funny either. Did you? You're in a right arse.
Hey, to be honest with me, I'm surprised you could fucking see it in that van. Did you put it in the footwell of the passenger seat?
I just put it in the back.
I nearly brought up the tufted duck with Jerry Bridges boilies at Linear. Do you remember you put a dead duck in his boilie bucket?
Dead animals are just following you around, mate.
There is a running thing.
It's a running theme.
You and dead animals.
Oh, good times. Good times. Mark, I want to take it way back because I know a lot of people watching will know you mainly probably for the challenge, but obviously your fishing started a long time ago before that in terms of you travelling quite a few miles south hunting big fish when you were sort of targeting those big fish in the UK. Do you miss that buzz? Is it something you want to get back into, or?
I do miss it, yeah. I mean, I did travel a long way, and living near Middlesbrough, everything's a long way.
Everything's a long way, yeah.
So even for me to be fishing in Yorkshire was kind of an hour plus journey. And I just used to think, well, if I'm driving an hour, I might as well just drive 2 or 3 hours.
Yeah.
And then I'm thinking, well, if I'm driving 2 or 3 hours, might as well just keep going. So that was my thinking back then. I didn't mind the driving. I think maybe it's when you're young. And back then, there wasn't as many speed cameras on the roads as
But
well.
there wasn't as comfortable seats in the car. There wasn't podcasts to listen to. Or
No, but either way.
no
it was
hands-free.
No, but it was different times.
Back
And
then, your calves were in full health, so you didn't mind doing like a full 5 hours
Yeah.
before.
But just give people an idea, when you were fishing Strawberry Fields or Essex Manor, how many hours actually was it taking you to drive there?
it would depend on the traffic. But for me to go to like Kent, it's a 650-mile round trip to do that. So I often used to leave early hours of the morning. But if it's on a good run, it'd be 5 hours on a good run.
So what were you doing at this time? What were you doing in terms of work? Were you fishing weekends and?
So back then, I didn't used to fish that often. Back then, I'll have had a tackle shop, my first tackle shop, and I used to I could only get someone to cover me every other week. So it would just be every other week for usually 48 hours or 3 nights at a push. So it's a long way to go for a 48-hour session.
Yep.
And then I used to just do overnighters locally as well between work. Often just go straight to the shop, after an overnighter, as a lot of people do, go straight to work after overnighters. But yeah, that's the sort of amount of travelling I was doing. So it wasn't loads. It was just every other week, really.
Which was the first big one that you targeted?
Targeted.
Travelled all the way down there to target.
And how did you find out about it? What was the sort of, oh, right, I need to catch that? How did that
I think
come about?
that would be probably Benson. I think the first big one.
Right.
I actually wanted to target, and it wasn't that far away as well. It was obviously Bluebell, which for me wasn't a bad drive. Back then I could do it in under 3 hours.
When you started targeting it, had it been the record common?
Yeah, it was a mid 50. I don't think it'd done 60. I hadn't done 60s. No, it was a 50-pounder.
And what lake that was in?
That was in Kingfisher.
Kingfisher when
Yeah.
the complex, yeah.
So I remember I had one kind of recce session, and I remember trying various different things on that recce trip. Actually, no, I'm lying. I went. My first recce session, the lake had just flooded because it was obviously right next to the name,
bones
and it
were
was
there.
just like being in a swamp. It was awful. I think I only stuck it out for 24 hours. And then I went back a few weeks later, and that became a bit of like a recce trip. and caught a few fish as well from memory. I remember thinking, this is pretty easy. Well, and I was just trying different things. I'd catch on one tactic and then change, and I thought, well, I wonder if I'd try something else. And but while I was there, I spoke to lots of people who were fishing, and a few people who'd already caught Benson. And I remember I was probably grilling people for info. When did you catch it? And it seemed that a lot of people were catching it then. On like the second or third night, I was saying, no, did you catch it quickly? How did it take? And I was saying, no, I caught it often like the second night, third night of the session. And I looked back through all its previous captures, and they all tied in around a new moon.
Okay.
Now, I'm not a moonie.
No, I'm the same. I don't get it.
But for whatever reason, that's just what its pattern followed. Maybe it's. I don't think the moon had any influence on it, but that's for whatever reason, that's just its pattern it followed.
Was it a boilie fish? What did you in what your findings of speaking to others? Was it that sort of?
Yeah, it seemed to be quite a baity fish.
Yeah.
So I remember on my third trip, taking everything into consideration, what I've been told about, it often gets caught on people's second or third night, often come out on a new moon. So I remember postponing one of my trips. So instead of going every other week, I missed a week. So my trip fell with a new moon. I'd took home some buckets of lake water, and I'd washed all my bait out a couple of days before the trip.
No stone unturned on this one.
Yeah.
Carpies, you like that, man.
Yeah, I'd washed out my pellet as well, so it was
Mush.
sort of like pretty much mush. And on my third night, I caught it within about 4 hours of the rods being in the water.
Wow.
Yeah.
What was that like? That initial take and the sort of lifting into that, because those big fish always seem to have that dense plod, don't they? Almost. Did you feel
that
it straight
was-
away?
What year was it?
2003.
Fucking big fish at that time.
Wasn't it?
Yeah,
then.
it was about the
Right.
fourth or fifth biggest
Literally
caught
the
that
big-
year.
Biggest common in the
Yeah,
country.
That brings memories back for me because that's how we sort of first met.
was it?
Yeah, not a bluebell.
Oh, we did one of our first pieces.
Yeah,
together
you did
there,
an
didn't we?
article for Crafty Carper about the washed out baits and catching
Right.
Benson and everything, and we went back to Bluebell and did photos to go with it.
Yeah,
That would have been nearly
2000
20 years.
2008 or 8 maybe.
Maybe a little bit earlier than that.
Was it?
I think
God.
I've worked at Fox for 15 years, haven't I? 2010. Started on the magazine in 2005, and it would only been 1 or 2 years. It'd be about
Right.
it'd be about 20, probably about our 20-year anniversary next year.
Ah.
Well, to answer your question, Dean, yeah, when I picked up the rod, my first thought was I was snagged.
Right.
It just didn't move.
What
were you
was
fishing?
your biggest fish?
He was worried.
Before
He was
then.
worried that a massive rabbit was going to come to the
Or a
surface.
snapping turtle.
How much bigger was that than what you caught before?
2000, I'm trying to think now. I honestly don't know. Obviously, it was a new PB.
Yeah,
I hadn't caught a 40 then.
Yeah. See, that's what I'm saying. So it's like at least
Yeah, I honestly
16
don't know what
pounds
my PB was
bigger
before
than anything
then.
that you caught
I
before.
think I'd have caught 30s,
Yeah.
but only yeah. There'll have been 30.
You didn't, have,
it'll
you
have
didn't
been,
have much to go at up north.
no, it'll have been like actually my PB before then will have probably been like mid 30s from Selby Three Lakes because that's where
Yeah.
it went after there. So it'll have been like
It was a
mid-30s.
mecca and still is for people in your part of the world to travel to, isn't it? Like
Yeah.
the northeast.
Yeah, it's easy access. It's straight
Yeah.
down the A1 and you're there. But yeah, I picked up the rod and I thought, I'm snagged. And I'm sort of bending into it. I'm like, it is moving. And every now and then it would sort of kick. And I'm thinking, oh, maybe I've got like a ball of weed and there's a bream sat in it or something. That's what it felt like.
Was it middle of the lake that you were sort of targeting? Was it just an open water?
No, it was a
How many
bar
wraps?
at shot.
Dean's off there next week.
What tree was it?
From memory, it was like short range, 40-ish yards, I think.
Comfortable fishing as well.
Yeah. And I remember thinking it must be a bream and a ball of weed. And I remember something, it was dark. I remember something breaking the surface. And I don't think I had my head torch on. And I remember sort of scooping this big thing up. And I'm thinking, it must be a ball. Must be like a ball of weed and something in it. So I sort of pulled it in. I put my hand in on the neck. I didn't have a torch. It was dark. Obviously, it was new moon as well, so it was even darker than normal.
Wow.
And like secured the net. Went and got my head torch. I remember peering in and just being like,
That's it. That's the one.
yeah. And then it which went downhill from there, to be honest with you.
Why?
So I remember just stood there, just looking at it for ages in the landing net. Just stood there for ages. And I remember I weighed it, and it was 56.8, still my UK PB.
Jesus.
And I remember going out there and securing it in a sack, and I remember wading out as far as I could and putting the sack in the water just to compose myself. And I remember a guy come round just after I put it in. A guy come round. He went, "Did you catch one just then?" I was like, "Yeah." I didn't want to say anything, but I was like, "Yeah, I did." He went, "What was it?" I was like, "Benson." "Oh, right, okay, I'm going to phone Tony though." Okay, we're going to get down. Next thing is just like, it was a whirlwind, just like a Tasmanian devil running around me swim. It's like, "I'm phoning Tony, he's coming down now, we're doing the photos right now." I'm like, okay, let me just let it sink in a bit. Let me just calm myself down. And Tony come down, and he said, "Whereabouts is it?" I said, "It's sacked." He went, "What, right out there?" I said, "Yeah." He went, "Oh, it could have waited till the morning." I was like, "Well, yeah, that's why I did it." He went, "Well, I'm here now, we'll do the photos." I'm like, "Oh, it's going to be a nighttime shot." I just got a brand new camera.
Wow.
And this is pre-digital camera days, don't forget. And then a guy literally grabbed the camera off me. He's like, he's like, "Okay, we're done." I'm like, "What?" And anyway, you can imagine what happened.
Yeah.
No.
I remember he rattled off a roll of film in about 3 seconds.
Yeah.
I remember fish went back, didn't even have time to sort of take it all in.
Is that when you used to have to go to Boots to get them developed?
I couldn't
and all
sleep.
that? Yeah.
I went the next day, drove into Peterborough, I think it was, to the 1 hour photo, got them developed, opened up the envelope, all excited. Okay, that's just a blur and a load of light. That's just a blur and a load of light.
No.
That's just a blur and a load of light.
Oh.
Nothing.
Oh,
And I've got one photograph, which is, well, it's just it's a blur and not much light.
I think I've seen that actually.
And that's the only
Facebook,
photo
yeah.
I have.
They're on the AR.
The one and only photo. Yeah.
Yeah, you
You
could
might
do
be able
it,
to get
actually.
something with it now.
Yeah. But I have one photograph of it, and that's it.
Oh, dude. Man.
And
Back then, there must have only been a handful of 50-pounders in the country.
Yeah.
it was, yeah.
Not that
Yeah.
I'm going to make you feel any
Were you
worse.
talking, was that 23 years ago then? How was it? Did you say
Coming up to
202?
23 years
Yeah.
ago, yeah.
20, wow.
And then, it'll be the following year. There was another common that did £50. He did 51s, 52s down in Strawberry Fields in Kent. So I thought, back then no one had two English £50 commons, or two £50 commons from the
Yeah.
UK. And it was being fished by some high-profile anglers. Some very high-profile anglers were fishing there at the time, Strawberry Fields. Like I said, no one had had two English 50s.
Well, I've never heard of what strawberry. That's
It's Strawberry Fields.
sort of
It's
place is
a-
it?
It's
How
a
big?
beautiful little tiny pool in Kent. It's tiny. It's from memory like an acre and a half, I think.
Oh right,
From
okay.
memory.
Yeah.
Some of the riggiest fish I've ever fished for.
Weedy or
Not weedy at all, no. And a lot of the fish were stocked small, 4 to 7 pound, I believe, and they grew on to be 40s, 50s. Well, grew on to be one of them. A fish called Lee Jackson. I think it was mid 60s. I think it grew on to be in the end. But this
Did
was a
Lee
few
Jackson
years.
ever catch it? Was it named after
Yeah,
him?
because it had a bald patch on one side. It had a big, massive bald patch. That's why it was called that. But anyway, I went there to catch this big, deep-bodied 50-pound common, and it was quite a rare visit at the bank. But the first time I went down there, it snowed,
right?
and I had a take in the middle of the night. I remember I had the bobbin. It just rose up. I had like 3 beeps on the alarm. The bobbin rose up, and I peered out, and I saw all the snow, and it dropped back 1 beep, if you like. I thought, I must have been a liner or something. And when I reeled in that rod the next day, I had a length of a leader on, like a 3-foot leader, and a drop off inline. The ones with like the slot down the centre.
Yeah.
And my heavy inline, well, I say heavy at the time for me, like 3.5 ounces, I think it was. It slid right up the 3 foot of the leader, and where the slot wasn't perfectly open, it was just hanging on like the splice of the leader, and my rig was just a tangle. Sneaky bastards. And after that, I shortened it down to...
Probably a rabbit, mate. You'd have been all right.
I shortened it down to like a 3-inch hook link, 5 ounce inlines, and...
from memory, were you using little slivers of pepperami?
Yeah, I changed the baits as well. I was using little tiny discs of pepperami, tiny little things, fished in tiny little solid bags of liquidized bread at the time.
Bloody hell, right.
Chances are probably all that had been eaten because it was full of roach. So I was probably just fishing single discs of pepperami. And on my next trip, so my second trip, I had 3 fish, I think it was. I think it was 3 fish. And on my third trip, I had another 3 fish, and one of them was the big one.
Right.
And yeah, I remember it'd been out a couple of weeks previous at 51s or something. We put it on the scales, and it was flickering. It was flickering 49, 15, 50. And I'm like, I've got to take the lowest weight. I've got to. I couldn't do it. Everyone's like, it says 50. It says 50. I'm like, yeah, it also says 49, 15. Like, I can't do it.
Sorry, I just feel like the conversation was like, that's definitely 50. No, Mark, that's 49, 50. No, it's 50. I've had 2 50s now. I'm the first. But no, sorry, Mark, that's definitely, you have to take the lowest way.
Pushing a boilie down his mouth.
I couldn't do it. So, be different if it was a digital scales, but digital scales.
So what was the time between Benson and that one? How long are you talking between those 2 catches?
So I had Benson in the October, and I had that one the following April.
Nice.
And you so both of those were three sessions in, something like that?
Both 3 sessions in, yeah.
Yeah, so you're catching these big ones real quickly.
I was doing a lot of homework.
Do you think that's the main thing?
Yeah,
Conscious of his carbon footprint as well, obviously having to travel all that way.
The thing is, you're going, it's, maybe it's because of the time involved in travelling there and the expense of travelling all that. I had to make sure everything was so nailed on. And I was...
Yeah, you can't go and pre-bait every night during the week, can you?
Not at all. And I was so focused on it. That's all I did. All my time, I mean, you find this hard to believe, I know, but all my time was just spent tying rigs and everything. Everything was just super, super, super organised.
It was a long time ago.
Yeah.
And what was your sort of go-to rig? Did you have that is the rig I'm going to catch the big ones on? Did you have that sort of favourite?
I think we both came on a similar rig. It'll have just been a braided hook link and an inline lead. And then for Strawberry Fields, I just shortened it down to like 3 inches. I was using tiny hooks as well, size 10s.
We touched on this in the last podcast.
Size 10 long shanks also, But yeah, size 10 hooks and heavy leads. And yeah, I did pretty good on the third trip in. Yeah, I couldn't call it 50.
So when you've landed the big one, was that it then? Were you like, I'm done here, I'm moving on? Or did you stay to catch others that you wanted in your album from that water?
So from there, I went back on the Essex Manor. I'd already been there for quite a few years on the Essex Manor. But when I joined there in, when would it be? I can't think what year it would be. 2000 and... I think I went there, I think I had a guest session or something. I think it was 2000. I went on the Essex Manor. That would have been my PB before Benson, the Amphibian.
Oh, so right. Yeah.
That was my PB. So I went there in 2000 and wanted to catch the Amphibian, but didn't expect to catch it on my first trip. So that was a bit of an anticlimax, really.
Just explain for people about the Essex Manor, what sort of water is that? I remember speaking, bless him, Tong. I know he loved his time on there. He caught, is it Stella, I think he had out there at one of the big fish. Yeah. But I know he really enjoyed his time there. But it was just a bowl, wasn't it? Is that
all it was? Just an irrigation bowl in the middle of a field next to the M25 in Essex.
Inspiring stuff.
Yeah, but the fish it held were something else.
What do you reckon is that about them? Why does a certain water have the ability just to is that what it is?
All that old stuff out and he tops it back up with new stuff. However, the new stuff got in, but I'm convinced it's
quality water.
exchange.
There's so many of those farm
Yeah.
irrigation reservoirs, burners. Oh my God, how many fish?
Maybe it's the auction as well. I mean, it's pretty open, just
Yeah.
fairly relatively windswept, and
Lack of nuisance species as well.
so it did have massive rud in it though.
Did it? Yeah, but I would imagine because the amount of boilie that was going in there, the cart.
I mean, that's got to be. There was bait wars on there.
Yeah.
It was literally mainline V Nash at the
Was
time.
it was it quite a busy syndicate as well, and trying
Not
to get
so
into
much. I used
swims?
to, not particularly. No. When I got there, I used to get there on the Sunday night, and often it'd only be like myself or one or two other people on. Really, I could always get where I felt like I needed to be.
So you went back there after Strawberry Fields.
Yeah, so I caught it on my first trip in 2000, and I became a member after that.
So how did you catch it first time? What's you
That
just
was-
rocked up, chucked out, and had it? No
yeah, just
story
went.
to it.
Yeah, well, that was again just doing my homework. I remember speaking to the Don loads beforehand. He gave me some advice. He's like, just focus on these two swims.
Derek Ritchie, just for the record.
Yeah,
So
sorry.
still having his mad raves in his bivvy back then as well.
Yeah, well, actually, I'd been there the year before and I guested with the Don. I went
Right.
there on my birthday and I caught my PB with the Don. What a trip!
You got it on with the done.
Yeah, yeah. So thanks, Don. Yeah, I remember that'd be 99, I think it was. Went there on my birthday in winter. So January, everywhere's freezing cold or frozen in Middlesbrough. Driving down to Essex and getting
Suntan.
yeah, and I loved the place. Just being there in winter and just heaving lumps, just bosh out and that. It's not something we're familiar with up in Middlesbrough. Not that time of year anyway. And so that was just speaking with the Don, getting loads of info. He said, concentrate on this area. This is where you want to be in the winter. And then just, followed his advice, went in, think about it's a Sunday night. It's going to have seen shitloads of bait. I don't know if you're putting much bait in. So it's just solid bag, pouch of bait over the top. That's all I need to be doing. Next morning, rattled off, caught it. I was like, oh, okay.
What are we going to do now?
And then a few years later, you've gone back.
Well, yeah, it didn't count really because the fish was recovering after it had dropped a lot of weight. It had been mid-40s, and it was always a relatively friendly fish anyway.
Hence its name.
Yeah, and for me, living where I do, I still had very limited time. Although I was fishing every other week, I still had limited time on the bank. There was no point me going to like Raisbury or somewhere when in reality I could just do 2 48-hour sessions a month. I have to give myself realistic targets and fish to my strengths. And that fish had been mid-40s. It dropped down to £27. It went missing for
Really, that much?
for months. I don't know how long. It went missing for months. And then someone hooked what they felt like was a trailer in the pads. And it was a day or two later, the amphibian got caught at 27. And after that, it just got caught like every day. It was just trying to, imagine a mid-40
18,
dropping
18,
down to,
Yeah.
So it's just getting caught every day. And then, I joined. Back then, it wasn't getting caught quite every day, but it was on its way back up. It was 38.6, I think it was. But I looked at it and it just looked like a cod. Colours just wasn't right. It wasn't right. His mouth still had the damage. It wasn't the fish that I'd seen in the papers and that. So I wanted to catch it again, and it took me, I think after 3 years of being on there, I never caught it again. I had some mega fish. I had some great fish. I loved my time on there.
Yeah.
But I didn't catch it. And I'm like, I'm not going to catch it. I've caught it once. I ain't going to catch it. So I dropped my ticket.
Did you? So did those over that time? Did you get involved? Well, could you get involved with the bait wars?
I mean, back then I was using. Well, I've been using mainline at the time.
So you could kind of piggyback on the back of because it was that mainline Nash.
It was. Like I said, it was bait wars. It was getting tons of bait. I'm talking people turning up with wheelbarrows of bait. I'm talking.
Activate.
It will have been the Activate days, wouldn't it?
So, no sponsorship at this time. You weren't sort of affiliated with companies as such, or
I had a sponsorship with mainline then, but still very much paying for my bait and everything. So, but yeah, like I said, after 3 years, I thought I ain't going to catch it again, so I dropped my ticket. And then I'd been in a BCAC was it the match? No, maybe it was a practice session for a BCAC down at somewhere in Kent, right near the coast.
Nichols Leisure.
That was it. And yeah, I didn't particularly enjoy it. So on the way back, I thought, wonder if I can blag a guestie on the manor. And I rang my mate John Miller up as I'm on the M25, and I'm ringing him. I said, just passing your way, any chance I can jump on for a couple of nights? Any chance? He went, let me see what I can do. Anyway, my junction was coming up, so I'm slowing down. I was doing like 40 miles an hour. I'm thinking, if he hasn't called me by the time I've gone past the junction, I'm just going to get my foot down and get home. Anyway, literally, as I'm alongside the junction, he's rang me. He went, yep, you can get on. So I've swerved off, got on there. And remember, I did a night, the wind was smashing down one end of the lake, peg called the end pads. And there was loads of fish there. Loads of fish. And I did a night in there. And there was fish all over me. I'm thinking, how hasn't it gone? How haven't I not had a take? And as I'm looking out across the lake, seeing all these fish boshing, I saw one halfway up the lake, a good 4 or 5 swims away, come out, and I'm thinking, that is a big one. It can only have been the amphibian. I'm thinking that had to have been it. So I'm thinking, I've got to leave. Even though there's fish all over me, I've got to get a take at any minute. That's the one I want. So I packed everything up. There's fish just all, honestly, it was going to get a take any moment. I'm like, no, I've got to go now. And I've sort of chased up there, jumped in a swim halfway up the lake. And it didn't look anywhere near as good as where I was. It was like in the middle of the wind, if you know what I mean, where it's a big southerly smashing down the other end. And I'm thinking, what have I done here? Anyway, so I got the rods out, and that rest of that sort of day, nothing. Get into the night, nothing. Wake up in the morning, and the heavens just opened. It was like a proper monsoon. The rain was just absolutely bombing down. I remember looking, thinking, don't get a take now. Do not get a take now. Just at that moment, rods just absolutely melted off. I've picked up the rod and I'm thinking, it's tiny. I've put the rod down low. I've just give it the proper crank, just wound it all the way, and the fish are just swam in. Lifted the rod. As I've lifted it up, the annie's just popped up by the net. I reckon from picking up the rod, it was less than a minute, and I've scooped it up. Literally, as I've put the net under it, the other rod's gone. So I'm looking at the annie in the net. So I've got my foot on the net, picked up the other rod, and that rod was a koi of about £10. Someone must have chucked it out the garden pond.
One landing net, or do you have a spare?
One landing net.
Really, one?
Yeah. So I got the annie and probably the smallest fish in there, the biggest and the smallest fish in the same landing net.
Jeez.
And
Nice.
and yeah, I was like, when it's written in stars, that's it.
Yeah.
And then it weighed £50.10, and it looked amazing.
As you wanted it to that first time. Yeah.
Better than I could imagine. I remember John coming down, John Miller, and obviously I'd caught Benson only, well, in the what would it be, 8 months, I think it was. I'd caught that 49.15 from Strawberry and Benson, and now the amphibian over that 8-month period. But the Benson just didn't have the memories because I didn't have the photograph. I had no sort of proof almost. And I remember John Miller coming down, he'd be like, he said, just take it all. And he's got all the time in the world. You know, took some photos. The photos are just mint. He said, right, before you put it back, just get the other side of the mat. So, and he got behind the mat. He lifted up the fish and held it up like I was holding it up. He went, there, this is the view that you don't get to see. That's what you've just caught. I remember thinking, fuck.
That's
quality, isn't it?
Yeah. I remember looking, and it's
funny you should mention John Miller, because last month, Baitworks podcast, the carp fishing podcast, they interviewed John on there.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
Yeah. So when you drive, if you've got time when you're driving home from here, put that podcast on and listen.
November.
Yeah,
right.
Really,
Right.
Fantastic stories.
Yeah, well, lovely
Seems
guy.
like a great guy.
Yeah, it was.
Someone that you don't hear anything about. He's not done anything
No.
in
He
the
caught some
media
great
and stuff,
fish.
but he's
Essex
been about
John, he was known as, wasn't it?
absolutely everywhere.
Fished on the Grange with him a little bit years ago.
What a brilliant thing to do, though.
And it made that moment just so much more special. for me.
Yeah.
Really did.
Yeah. And the Benson and the strawberry fields fish you caught on a solid bag. Did you catch the Annie on a solid bag as well?
I did, yeah.
See that's mad that
Yeah.
back then, I don't think many people down south would have been using solid bags fishing for big uns.
No.
So
Not with a little 10mm wafter in a bag as well.
No, this is it. So I think you coming down, obviously, for these tactics that you were using, like up north, and taking them down.
Tight northern tactics, literally.
Yeah, like obviously working, and also they're the sort of tactics that now, if you were going fishing for big fish, if I was on the session with you using those same tactics, you'd be laughing at me saying, I'm fishing for little uns.
Yeah.
But you would have been
weird.
doing something well different to everyone else.
Yeah, I was just thinking, then I caught it on a 10mm white wafter in a bag. That's what it was. When it was all the bait wars were going on. But I think that was kind of my thinking, though. The amount of boilie that must be out there. I just wanted something visual, really. And again, not many people were doing that. It was kind of before topping off with your
Would you
your
have
bait
been
toppers.
potentially fishing over somebody else's bait anyway? If you're casting to a showing fish, is it?
Well, I mean, it took quite a while to go, so it could have been sat there chomping
Yeah.
on whatever was down there, couldn't it?
That's the
Who
thing.
knows? Chances are you're probably fishing over someone else's
I think
bait.
a lot of the time on a busy lake, when you see fish showing consistently on an area and you move to them,
Yeah.
quite often they're there for a reason,
Yeah,
which is
of course.
they've moved on to bait a few days after somebody's put it
Yeah.
in or whatever. And like you say, quite often they'll get people then put bait in and struggle to catch and think it was the fact of like this disturbance of spomming on their heads that put them off. Probably more likely they've just added a load more bait out there to dilute their chance of the hook bait being picked up. Whereas
You've got
that
to sort of assess the situation, especially if you're arriving at a lake on a Sunday night. You know, after a busy weekend, you're going to be fishing over bait, so you don't just want to rock up and just start spodding a load of bait in. It's different if you get there on a Tuesday or a Wednesday and it's had a Monday or Tuesday where there might only be one or two anglers fishing it.
God rest his soul, Jim Wilson. I think I first met him at Bundy's, and he used to fish a Sunday, Monday, or a Monday and Tuesday, depending on how his shift worked. And I was a weekend angler. Weekends were really busy on there. Say really busy. 7 or 8 people on 7 or 8 acres, but it was busy. You know, most swims, good swims, are taken every weekend. Lots of bait going in every swim. Hardly did any bites on a weekend. Everybody goes on a Sunday. Either Sunday night's got nobody on and Jim would turn up on a Monday, or he'd turn up late on a Sunday. Turns up on a Monday, the fish will be showing on somebody's bait because there's been 24 hours of no fishing. And we always used to have a bit of a joke that it was easier for him being a midweeker and what have you. But it was great angling because he knew, rather than go in there with a preconceived idea, I'm going to go in this swim or whatever, watch the water, the fish will tell him where to fish. And it was that same thing. They ended up on one patch of bait somewhere. There'd be either coloured water, they'd be showing, and he'd go in to fish for a bite to start with, and then start to build the swim if he felt that was the right thing to do. I think a lot of people don't use that in their armoury these days, especially on somewhere like Linear or these real busy day ticket lakes. There's just bait after bait after bait going in.
We touched on that before, though, and I think 20 odd years ago, there was probably lots of weekend anglers and not many midweekers, and so you've got that chance to take advantage of that.
It seems different now. Busy waters are busy.
Yeah,
All the time. Yeah.
But I dare say, I mean, Bluebell would have been very busy even back then.
When I got there on the Sunday, I think there was only, from memory, like 4 or 5 anglers on or something.
Yeah.
I remember when with that fish, I remember the bailiff was on the opposite bank. He came round. He went, "You had Benson last night?" I was like, yeah. "Why didn't you stack it up till the morning? I could have come down and did something."
Don't.
Yeah, thanks.
That's when you needed that phone call, didn't you?
Yeah.
Let's have a go.
So by the time you've had the second capture of the amphibian, what year are we in now?
2004.
2004. And then did you continue doing like targeting specific fish, or did it change a bit after that?
Yeah, after that it was kind of just flitting around here and there.
What was because of that? Was the fire burnt out on the big fish, or was there no other big fish that sort of grabbed your attention?
Mate, aren't you? Completely
I think
at that point.
it was a mixture of a lot of things. By then, the mail order business in my shop was booming. You have to remember, this is before there was lots of mail order online stores. I was one of the,
Weren't you the first carp fishing shop on eBay?
One of the first.
What was
yeah.
it called,
Yeah,
mate?
yeah.
Sorry, what was
It
it?
was called Carp Crazy. It's still there today, and it's moved location. It's a different owner, obviously. I sold the
Right.
shop, but yeah, that was up the carp fishing shop in the northeast. And
Did you used to have adverts in mags?
no,
You didn't. I
no.
remember the logo was
that's
all
PVA. That was Carp
Carp
Crazy.
Crazy.
Ah,
right,
that's it.
yeah, yeah.
That's
That's
what I
right.
remember.
That's right.
Right.
Okay. Don't know if we'd advertise in Carp Talk, perhaps, can't remember. But we were one of the first to be on eBay. This is the time when everyone was kind of slagging off eBay, saying it's taking money away from the tackle trade. Embrace it, get on there, do
Yeah.
it. And so things were really busy then, and it became harder and harder to take even 2 days off. So I started, flitting around a lot, really.
Yeah.
And I think it wasn't until later that year, it was the end of 2004, that's when I got offered a chance to go to Reduta.
Right. Okay.
And that kind of then fueled a different passion, which I'm now fulfilling
Yeah,
many
I
years
can imagine.
later.
Did you ever get the need, obviously, from being Middlesbrough, to fish the northern water, like Scott was doing the Reedsmere side of things? Obviously, you must have heard about that and the rumbles,
Yeah.
what was going on there.
The thing is, that's northwest, and it's 2 hours for me to get northwest.
You fish Wyreside,
I did fish Wyreside.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did a bit on there. That was nice. Some lovely fish. That was late 90s.
That's
Yeah,
some cracking fishing.
Beautiful.
I mean, that for the
Gladiator,
area
was it? One
it
of
was
them?
in.
I had Gladiator.
Did you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What a fish that was.
Yeah.
Hoover.
Beautiful fish.
Hoovering.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Hoover was
Didn't
wild,
catch that one.
Yeah.
No, there's some beautiful fish in there. Lovely scaly ones. Kind of a bit like the horseshoe fish back in the day, weren't
You
they?
fish Ripon racecourse?
I did fish the same year as Benson. Funny enough, again, third night, target fish.
Lucy, was that Lucy?
No.
Oh, you never had Lucy?
Didn't get Lucy. So that was, again, it was third night. I remember I did an overnighter, and I got there, it was June. And I remember I got there first light. So you're talking whatever time, 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning. And I spent the full day walking around. I only had an overnight, so I wanted to make sure I was where I needed to be. And I spent the full day walking around, didn't see anything until it was just getting dark. So by now it's like 9 o'clock. It's quite a big lake. I think from memory it's 20 acres. Might be bigger. Can't remember.
But you were knackered, mate, weren't you?
Yeah.
4 in the morning till 9 o'clock, walking around all day.
Oh, I was chatting, having brews with people as well. I wasn't just
Having a flutter on the
constantly
horses
walking.
as well.
But I didn't put a rod in the water. Just walking, chatting. And as it was getting dark, I just saw a fish show, and it was like this purpley coloured fish. And there was 2 big ones in there, and one of them had this like purpley coloured complexion to it. I'm like, it's got to be that. And it showed, I bet it was 2 rod lengths on the bank. And then I stood there, and another one showed, and another one showed, and another one showed, and another one showed. I'm like, Jesus. So I got the rod in, and I think that night, I caught something, I can't remember exactly. It was something like 8 or 9 fish that night on a lake which was meant to be pretty hard. And then I remember as I was putting one of them back, I just saw it was like a little mound of hemp in the margins. Someone had obviously been either as they'd left or whatever, they just shoved all the bait in. Just must have just thrown a bucket of hemp in or something. And I had them up to like low 20s. I went back the next night, fished the same spot. I put quite a bit of bait in as I left, and I think I caught 1 or 2, but obviously the spot was done then. And then I think I went down a couple more times after that, but never got a rod in the water. I couldn't find it. I'm like, I've got more important things to do. I'm not just going to chuck it and chance it. Unless I know I'm on them, I'm not going to bother. And then I had another walk round one night and found both the big ones together. And I fished in this corner of the lake that night. And I remember I got annihilated by tench. I don't know how many tench I caught. It was like a lot. Double figures of tench. Couldn't keep a rod in the water. And all I was doing, I was just walking down the bank and lowering a rig on a spot. I could see it was like a deep margin. I was walking down, lowering it in, check. Right, there's no tench there. Good. Get a rig in. Walk back. It would go in my hands. Tench. Think, where's it come from? Wasn't even there.
Just watching in the reeds. It comes.
And another tench. Did it again. Looked. Couldn't see anything. I'd seen the big ones there that evening, so I knew they were sort of in the area. Just got the rod on the rest, got in my hand. I'm like, Jesus, not again. And I've picked it up, and the rod's just like hooped over this time. I'm like, it's not a tench. It's not a tench. And I landed. It was a fish called split fin. It was one of the big ones. And normally, the two big ones used to swim around together. And again, it's a fish which had been 36s, I think, which for the north is big, really, really big.
Yeah.
But it had been, its mouth was damaged, it had been tethered, and it was like high 20s. And I think that was its last ever capture.
No.
I don't think it'd come round.
You killed it.
And I remember putting it back.
This time it had its scales rather than feathers or fur or something.
And I remember I looked at my watch and I'm like, I've got 15, 20 minutes and I've got to get to work. I've got to get to work. I remember walking back up the bank and Lucy was there feeding on the spot. So I'm like sort of flicking a little pellet out of it and it sort of just moved away. And it kept coming back. I'm like, no, don't come back. Let me get a rod in first. And I managed to get a rod in. Walked back. As I'm walking, just got a rod back on the alarms. Went in my hand. I'm like, gotta be fucking tench, wasn't it?
Oh, man.
And yeah, then I had to get off to work. I'm thinking I was already well late. And I don't think I went back. I think it was my last trip.
It's a shame. That was a proper cool fish, that Lucy. The
Yeah.
leather.
Yeah, it really was. It went on to do big things, and I don't hear much of it these days. So hopefully there's still some amazing fish in there. It was incredible water to the north.
Nice. So how you're getting into sort of what, 2005, 2006 now, that sort of time?
Yeah, after that it became sort of flitting around, day tickets here and there. Nothing I really sort of got stuck into. Did a bit on Lynch Hill. I think by now, was I doing more magazine work or something?
I was going to ask you, when did the Fox gig start to come about?
I think Mark sent a letter in. It might have been an email, but I think it might have actually been a printed letter.
Really?
It would have been about
Proper
2007, I reckon.
Yeah.
And it was like, I mark pictures, blah, blah, blah.
Wade aware.
Hey, I'm just gonna say,
I think you'd had a bit of a break from like fishing or whatever, and you were like, I'm really keen to start writing a lot more. I think you'd done stuff in the past. And
Yeah,
then,
I've done quite a bit of magazine work.
and you were like, I really want to start again, blah, blah, blah. I think,
And you were at the mag this point.
yeah,
weren't you?
I was the editor on the magazine, and he was like, I'm sponsored with Mainline and with Fox. He was already sponsored with like a low-level sponsorship deal with Fox then. So that was, 20 years ago nearly.
Would you have sold up by this point?
2008, I saw. It must be 2008 then, because that's when I sold my shop. That's when I pretty much was living the dream. Fishing all the time.
You just sold it, I think.
2008 then. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that'd be about right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then so we went. When you're an editor of a magazine back then, the workload was a lot to fill. So if somebody could actually write, because a lot of the people that you have in the magazines, they couldn't write. They hadn't necessarily had the best education or whatever, because they were fishing probably more than they were spending time at school or whatever. So they couldn't string many sentences together. So a lot of the features they'd have to be ghost written. A lot of them were. So if you could find somebody who could supply something well written, straight away your ears will prick up and think, okay,
well done, Mark.
this is
saves you a
half
lot of
my
work.
job.
Yeah.
If somebody could also supply really good photography as well, so you didn't have to do anything pretty much other than put it together, both boxes were ticked. And we had anglers like Ian Poole back then who could literally supply all their own photography, all their own words, and it was a little bit of work. Little work needed to be doing. Obviously, you've seen the pictures of Benson. Mark couldn't do the photography side of things, but his words were fantastic. Like he was, you could tell that had probably a little bit of a better education.
He'd attended English.
Than the average carp fisherman at that time. So I was like, right, I want to use this guy. It's a good article that he'd written. It was the Bluebell Benson story thing and everything. So we met up, we got on and everything. We had a laugh, and
That's important as well, isn't it? When you're spending time,
people do
with
business
people.
with people. At that time, it was business. Do you know what I mean? I'm the editor. He's a potential contributor, and if you're personable and everything, for me, I want to, go out with people I enjoy being with and what have you. So I think we did a thing about winter fishing as well at Bluebell that Mark did. And then I think it was put in the next spring, we were supposed to go somewhere to do some pictures for an article, but for some reason we couldn't. You needed to get back earlier or something, so we ended up at Doggers Pond, didn't we?
Ah, Doggers.
Doggers Pond.
Yeah.
What we named Doggers Pond. That was, me and Scott lived together at the time in Sheffield, and there was this little coarse match fishery about half a mile down the road from where we lived. I don't know what it's actually called, so we're not going to be able to get the locals calling it Doggers Pond, but...
You can imagine what went on
we've got
there.
this place near us. Me and Scott used to go there and catch barbel in the evening.
Yeah, I know that place.
Lovely little lake, little pads and stuff. It looked carpy.
Yeah.
I said it looked perfect for the shots. There's no big carp in there, but it'll look fine for the photos we need to do. And we got there, and there was just some random goings-ons in the car park, wasn't there? And hence why Mark christened it Doggers Pond.
Yeah.
Never been back, mate, no?
I've only, well, not this week, no. Too much on this week.
Mark, I was going to mention your old tackle shop. You told me a story. Please tell this one about breaking a brand new rod over your knee in spite.
Oh, no.
Please. It's a belter. It's an absolute belter.
I can't say that.
Yeah, you can.
No.
Yeah,
Sounds like
you
you
can.
can.
Because he deserves it.
I don't know if he does. No one deserves that. I was a young, angry man.
Well, there you go. You've given yourself an excuse now.
There you go.
You're
Yeah.
a young, angry man.
You're in the moment.
And okay. I can't.
Oh,
It's
please.
So why were you?
No.
Why were you a young, angry man?
So this is when you had your own tackle shop.
If this was coming to the end of my tackle shop days.
Stressed as well, though. A lot going on.
I wasn't stressed till this guy come in. But it's so I'd ordered, this guy come in and asked me to order him a travel rod. It was a Fox rod, actually.
There you go.
It was a Fox, did we do like an 8-piece travel rod or something?
did a
Yeah,
travel
we
rod.
did that back
I
then.
think it
Yeah,
had been
yeah.
called
Yeah, it's a
years
long
ago,
time
something
ago.
like
It's
that.
a long time ago. And he asked me to order it. I said, okay. I said, I'll tag it onto the next order. I said, I can get you it now, but you'll pay postage. No, I'll just tag it onto the next order. There's no rush. I don't go for another month or something. I said, okay. Anyway, ordered it. It come... I said, it'll be in, next week, I said to him. Anyway, he come in a week later, I think it was. He said, is that travel rod in yet? I said, no, it hasn't come in yet. Oh, he went mental. He went mental. I had a shop full of customers. He was shouting, swearing. I was all the C's under the sun, yelling in my face. I was the biggest C ever. I'd ruined his holiday. Proper yelling at me. I was thinking, shit. I said, when did you go on holiday? 2 weeks. I'm like, mate, it'll probably be here today. I said, I'm getting a delivery today. I don't know. He just carried on going. He was yelling in my face. And okay. Anyway, he stormed out the shop, saying, "I'm never coming back. I'm a this. I'm a that." He can't have been gone a minute, and then delivery turned up with his rod. Anyway, so I've rang him back, and I said, "Your rod's just arrived, mate. If you want to come and get it." "Oh, brilliant, mate. Oh, thanks, mate. Oh, great." So anyhow. I can't say this.
You can.
So he's come back. I said, was it a 6-piece travel rod? He went, yeah. I went, oh, is it? Yeah. And I've wrapped it around my neck. There you go. You've got a 12-piece travel rod now. And I've launched it at him. And I remember my knee was knackered for about 2 weeks afterwards. A big black bar. But he just pushed me beyond.
The satisfaction was, there you go.
The instant satisfaction was great. The 2 weeks not being able to walk afterwards, not so much.
The viewers here will be pleased to know Mark rarely works behind the counter at Capital Angling. So the chances of him...
But if you come in and start calling me a C and everything, then who knows?
I'll make you a new travel rod.
Yeah. And then I sold it not long after that. I'm thinking, I
Not
can't.
the rod.
Yeah. I can't be doing this again, can I? That's not right, is it?
20
know,
years
how would-
later, I'll have another one.
How would other
have two.
people react, though? I don't know. How would you react if someone was yelling and shouting
I
and
would have
swearing
absolutely
and-
just lost it myself in that moment when he did it. Yeah.
Yeah, I was quite calm because I had a shop full of customers at the time, which made it even worse, really, being yelled at and shouted at in that sort of manner.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm being a bit harsh. I don't know.
No, it's the life and times of running a tackle shop. I had plenty of those instances over the year where you just have to stand there and they're just bellowing at you. And you're just like,
Just remember, the customer is always right.
normally we used to have a sign.
Then.
We had
Yeah.
normally right. That's what we had, or sometimes right, or something like that.
Wonder if he had a good holiday or not.
Crab fishing. I've got some amazing questions from our syndicate lot who've we put a few posts out a few weeks ago, knowing that you were coming on to the podcast.
The first one is from Mick in the northeast. Where's my fucking travel rod?
There's a couple that there's one I'll save one because I think Harry and Lewis might be able to. I don't know. We'll wait and see. First one is from Adrian Street. Mark fishes a lot of day tickets with a lot of murky water. I'm interested to know if you'll use a particular bait, colour or smell in this situation where you literally cannot see 12 inches through the water.
I mean, yeah, we can't see, but I think the carp can see. That's their home. That's their environment. I think they're used to. I mean, they're finding bloodworm and snails and shrimps and all sorts in that water. I mean, they're perfectly well adapted to finding food in there, so it wouldn't really phase me. So I would fish it probably not much different to what would a clear water. Really, I don't see. What do other people think?
I would go for something. I like
stinky and bright. Would you?
Yeah, I like a snowman in that situation. A really glugged up, stinky, fishy bottom bait, and then a really bright pink.
You think it matters?
I don't know.
More for your confidence, perhaps.
Yeah, I think because then we don't know for sure whether their sight is better or worse in those conditions. So the bright pink is sort of like covering the visual thing, and then the stinkiness is covering the taste or smell. So I just think like you're covering all bases by putting both into the hook bait to try target them. But
It's funny, you see like, I mean, those coloured day ticket lakes similar to match fishing lakes where you'd fish with a pole. And most of those match guys, they're using pellets. But most of the pellets that they're using are like the sort of low oil ones, and they're not like adding loads of liquids and that sort of thing to them most of the time. They're just feeding.
But they do foul up a lot of fish as well.
Well, yeah, but that's because the fish are feeding on.
But probably missing a lot of the bait that's falling through. Are they feeding based on the vibration and of it moving through the water?
I think they're foul looking them because of the volume of fish and the competition for food.
It's exactly that. You were to put pellet on there, they'd be on it straight away, wouldn't they?
But I don't think how they can see through the murk because they haven't got superpowers. It's not like it's been able to see in the dark. That's a light thing.
Yeah.
Murk is a, you can't. So I don't think.
Yeah, but you manage to but like those match guys will catch them up in the water whilst the bait's falling through the water. Like,
but they're probably seeing that like they're not seeing it. You can't tell me on a murky lake a fish is seeing your hook bait from 12, 20 foot away.
But they're using the other senses, aren't they?
Yeah, that's my point. That's why for me I'm like trying to tune into all of it. Like look at East Elf. You fish that a lot when you're doing tuitions and everything. Murky water.
Yeah.
And you used to absolutely douse your free offerings in liquids, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
Really pump the attraction up.
Yeah.
And I took it like inspiration from your results on that for that sort of fit. For me, I just thought that's how I need to do more of that. I think you need on a clear gin clear water where they're pressured, riggy, whatever, maybe that washed out baits and going the opposite direction is a thing. But maybe on that murky stuff, loads of attraction and something bright, and just try and put everything in your favour.
Yeah. Okay.
But then Harry had gone chuck out an unflavoured single grain of plastic corn into that water and get a bite and think, wow, the hell.
Yeah, but that's it. I wouldn't do that just as a single. I'd do it like I'd feed in a way that I'd think that I'd get them feeding confidently. So, and also on those lakes. So those lakes generally aren't massive lakes. They're usually smaller lakes. The fish will have
fish stocking
quite often like set like patrol routes, places that they like to be. They quite often like to come into the margins, or if you've got islands, there'll definitely be patrol routes. If you can put rigs in those areas, then you can almost use anything because they will come across it. I know like Bird's Green as an example, somewhere where I used to fish because I literally lived down the road from it. It's a lake in Ongar in Essex, and it's got decent head of fish in it. Got a long island, and if you can cast really tight to the island, it's undercut. There's a bit of a shelf on it. If you literally have a single grain of plastic corn with a small mesh bag of pellets, it's on their patrol route. They're going past it. You will get bites without going over the top.
You look at the matchman fish in them waters, that they're not using a lot of pellet. You look at Jeremy Hughes, how much pellet he's introducing. Just tiny little bits of pellet.
Yeah, they're
pellet
just put little and often more though, aren't they? It's like,
and they're not using particularly bright visual things, are they?
no, but they will do mugging with like a single grain of corn and stuff in the what have you, where it is a visual thing. Like, but again, if you watch them when they do that mugging, they're dropping it on their nose.
Yeah,
they're not putting it 12 foot away, thinking that like it's going to see it, are they? It is literally right on their nose.
But that's, I guess, my point would be you're trying to put it somewhere that they are, rather than trying to attract them into an area. And I think that's always the best way to find where they are and put it where they are.
Yeah. One question. I'm interested in this one as well, actually, because I've faced this and I found it quite tough. So I just want to know what your guy. But this came up multiple times. Set up on a lake, and you've got no wind, and you're happy at 25 wraps, and then during that session, massive side wind. How do you get back onto that spot? How are you adapting your casting? Do you add on wraps on how do you sort of multiply what to do to get back on that spot?
I just sort of have a feeling for it. I've never sort of think, well, I'm fishing at 25 yards, the wind's 14 mile an hour, it's 10 foot deep, so if I multiply this by that, I add that on.
Yeah.
I always just think, oh, well, if I go a little bit right and take off a little bit more line, the bow in the line, that should land about where it is.
It's sort of, you feel for it. Feel for drop.
There's a very simple...
Have your elastic markers on your
This is 100% it. So
clip up, but put markers
if it's flat cut, I always like to fish, if I'm fishing, certainly to a spot where I'm feeding. And I want it, so you fish with a marker, elastic marker at the end of your rod.
Yeah.
If it's flat calm at the start, once you've tightened everything down and your line's going out to the spot, your elastic marker will either be, right at the end of your rod tip, or it might be a little bit back, but it'll always tend to fall back to the same place. Like if you've got 3 rods on the spot, all your markers should be.
If you're fishing with tight lines and not obviously low luck.
Yeah. But then if the wind picks up, you'll cast out, it'll have a bow in it, you'll let the line sink down below the flow, and then it should come back round towards you. You might get a bit of toe in it, but it should sort itself out largely. And you might then have the elastic a foot, 3 foot, 4 foot, however much, back towards your reel. So that is how much further
you need to add
close
onto the
towards
clip.
you are. So if that's happening to you, you add 3 or 4 foot back on. However, in like some sessions, the wind could be up, and then it could be down, and then it could be So
I was having to add on an extra wrap to get onto the spot I was fishing at a few weeks back, and it was only because it was dense weed, and unless I was hitting in this area of feeling that there's the lead crashing down, but it was just like, Christ, I've had to add on a wrap because this wind was crazy coming across.
I went and did casting lessons with Terry Edmonds, and I can't remember the number of wraps, but I'd wrapped up because I was like, I want to be able to hit this many wraps, Terry, because he's much more about, it's the field of truth, measuring will, that is the distance, not the amount of wraps you're fishing, it's the actual distance, that's what's important. But I was like, yeah, but I don't fish with a measuring wheel, I'm fishing with wraps, so I want to know that I can hit the clip at 40 wraps or whatever it was on the tuition. You cast it out, obviously you hit the clip, there's a side wind where we were, then when you measure the wheel out, it ain't 40 wraps. Like
it is 160 yards.
Yeah, the wind has took another 10, 20 yards for you out that way. So you haven't cast 40 wraps in that instance. Like you're saying, in a fishing scenario, that will vary massively depending on whether the wind's behind you, in your head, into your face,
the distance you're fishing,
the distance,
the depth of the water,
the diameter of the line you're using will impact it. Whether it's braid, whether it's mono, whether it's fluorocarb, everything will impact it. But what Harry's saying with the elastic marker is the best. Well,
That's the best way.
a
of
bait
knowing.
boat with GPS is the best way. I mean, that's the most accurate for sure. But if you're casting the elastic marker,
It seems like people have forgotten to use elastic markers and just count wraps these days.
well, I
you
stopped
just
using
need to
it.
do both.
I stopped using it several years ago because of Mark. You were to blame because Mark's Lake many years ago had a lot of jack pike that bred, and people were getting bitten off all the time, like in the margins and stuff. And I had this paranoia on a lake that because my elastic marker is up the rod a bit, I'm going to get a bite. That orange elastic's going to go into the margins of the water, and a pike's just going to come out of nowhere, attack the marker elastic, bite me off, and I'll never see the fish. So when wrapping became a thing, and well, originally we used to do paces, like where we'd fish, you'd pace down fence posts or whatever, or just paces off the reel. It was like, right, I don't need to use an elastic marker because I know I just pace it out 38 paces, clip it up, do it, and there's no danger of me being bitten off by a pike. And then in recent times, when I fished with Scott in Slovenia only earlier on this year, he was using the elastic marker very accurately again to cast back out in that deep water and make sure his rod was back where he wanted it to be. And I thought the chances of being bitten off using an elastic marker are probably like tiny compared to the chances of not fishing accurately and catching nothing because you're not fished accurately. So I'm a convert back to elastic. I've gone full circle now.
Love it. Another here from Ollie Malster. He wants to know, what is Mark's all-time favourite Fox product, old or new?
Ooh, that's a good one. I'm going to say...
Make sure it's one of mine.
I'm going to say my Frontier Bivvy.
Yeah.
I'm not lucky enough to have a Frontier 2 yet.
None of us are.
You haven't been fishing.
I'm going to say Frontier Bivvy.
Yeah, they're a wicked bit of kit. They are good, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The space in them, easy to put up, easy to pack down.
What were you using before
Stability.
the Frontier? What was was it the Retreat?
I don't know. I think it was a brolly system.
Yeah, Super Brolly, then the Ultra Brolly. It would have
Yeah.
been.
Yeah, you love
Yeah.
the brollies, isn't it?
Yeah.
Super Brolly, what a product that was.
As good as
Oh,
a
of
brolly.
course, yeah.
That's what it was.
I think the
Everyone
Frontier's
said.
been out now. First time I got one. When will that be?
We launched them in 2019.
I think I've had them 2018.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you would have done.
I'm still using the same ones as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't get
Surprised
like
if you don't go.
Hey, there was one a couple of years where I bank 4 or 5 times a week.
Would you be up for a charity match? And this being...
Is this you asking him?
No. This is obviously this is. Would you be at a charity match? So Harry and Pictures in a charity event. All proceeds going to good causes against Dovey and Spooner.
Wow.
We already agreed to do that, and they wussed out.
Oh,
Yeah,
right.
Dovey called me back end
Hello.
of last year, and I think we spoke about it, and then it didn't happen. And then he texted me again so 2 years ago he spoke about it, and nothing quite materialised. Then back end of last year, he messaged me and saying, "Oh, is there anything we can sort out?" And I called him. And I left a message, and he never called me back. So,
Right.
so he kind of tried to do it. I was keen to do something. It would have had to have been, and if it ever does happen, what it'll have to be is we do a Dovey and Spooner versus, and they come and do a challenge.
Yeah, that was what we wanted to do, weren't it? We
Right.
said
that'd be
these
cool.
two guys would go on the Corda YouTube channel, make a Dovey and Spooner versus, and then as a return favour, we'd then shoot a challenge where it wouldn't have had to have been head to head. It would have been could be fishing
Yeah.
together to complete a challenge together or whatever that was filmed by the Fox guys and put out on the Fox channel. But yeah. The offer's still, or they come to us originally, so yeah, we're still up.
Oh, let's get it
Make
done.
it happen.
Do you reckon
Harry,
Mark be up for that, mate?
Oh, yeah, 100%. Yeah,
that sounds
definitely.
cool. That sounds really cool.
But especially if it's for charity as well.
Yeah, that sounds cool. Well, powers that be that are listening, get this sorted. Last one from the syndicate. I've got Andy Latham who wants to know: do you think carp wise up to Pacific rigs and bait, or is it more associating certain areas with danger?
I don't think they're wise up to rigs. No, I've never. Well, when we've done the underwater filming, I think a lot of the time they don't even know what the rig components are. Some fish are better at ejecting than others, but I certainly don't think that they're aware of the components and wise up to it. It's just about tailoring the rig to the situations, like I was talking about with the strawberry FEILDS fish.
Yeah.
Use mega heavy in lines, really, really short, hook links, tiny hooks. That tripped them up. It's just about tailoring it to suit the situations you're fishing in, I suppose. But I don't think the wise up to it. They just become better at dealing with them when they do make a mistake.
I think getting your hook bait right is so much more important than getting your rig right.
Yeah.
Because that is the thing that they're going to eat, and if they don't want to eat it for whatever reason, whether it's because it's wafting about too much or not enough, or it's the wrong color, or it's too different to your exactly, or if it's on the bottom and
they want to eat something, just
So getting that right, personally, is so much more important, I think, than the
do you know,
actual rig.
I've been thinking quite a lot the last few months about this underwater thing.
Dangerous.
I watch a lot of the underwater stuff that's put out by all the different brands and Sipography, etc. Many rigs now are like D rigs or like German style rig where the hook bait is really close to the hook. Like there's not much distance between the hook and the hook bait. And often you watch these fish and they'll suck the hook bait and they spit it out really quickly, really before the hook link straightens to the lead and everything. Now they're evolved to know what's edible and what's not. And hook metal is not edible. Like plastic shrink tubing, it's not edible. The hook bait is potentially edible. It is food, unless it's like plastic corn, which obviously it isn't. So you ideally want your hook bait to get as far back in the throat as possible to the pharyngeal teeth where they can chew it and eat and decide, if it. And I wonder whether a lot of the time they're detecting the unedible stuff. They don't know it's a hook. They just know it's not edible. Just like when they suck a stone in, they spit a stone out because it isn't edible. And the original hair rig was all about a really long hair, and the hook bait was miles away from the hook. And I don't know if I've ever seen anybody in an underwater film put a proper long hair. Everybody's obsessed with resetting rigs and all this stuff, rather than actually, I don't want to give too much away from the underwater thing that we've got coming out, but I didn't think I'd ever been done on the 360 rig. You trolled back through, or Ben had trolled back through some footage. There's a bit where I'd been off from watching the screen, came back, there was a bit of a cloud in the air. My hook bait had moved, but I was going, I don't think I've been done, because where it's moved to, the angle the fish had come from, blah, it must have just been as it swam, it's wafted its tail. Evidently, fish had done me, and it was that real quick in and out thing again, where like it's playing in my mind, thinking a bottom bait on the deck, out the bag, matching everything else that they're eating for free, no extra flavors, anything like that. Really long, supple, super supple hair, so there's no feeling on their lip of something alien. That bait gets to their teeth to chew. The hook is now in by the bottom lip. That's the one. So I'd love to see. I'd love to see that, and I'd love to actually just do my own fishing with that.
But this is what I'm saying. Like rig wise, in theory, with everything else considered, that could be really, really good. But then, if you're more likely to get a bite on a bright wafty pop up, then you might not get that bite on the bottom.
What
bait.
do you think? Really long hairs, really.
Yeah, I was thinking then you're talking about the real supple hair. I mean, used to do tackle manufacturers even sell hair braid anymore? It was basically like
we still do hair braid,
super
really
fine, super fine braid, wasn't it? We used to use as a hair braid.
Can I tell a
Enough
quick story?
to warrant that it's still in the range after I did
Please.
reviews.
Can I tell a quick story?
Yeah, go for it, man. We've got a bit
Me
of time.
and my best mate Lingy, we started carp fishing together when we were 14.
Yeah.
So that's like 25 years plus. We used to go to a place called Wood Lakes in Downham Market, Norfolk. And he had 3 bites in quick succession, and his hook link broke on every bite. And he was like, I don't know what's going on, mate.
I know.
Keep hooking them and they're cutting me off straight away. So I was like, let me have a look at your rigs. And I've just gone poof, and the hook links parted. poof, the hook link's part. And I'm like, what are you tying your rigs out of? He went, it's the hair rig braid. I'm like, mate, that's only for the actual hair, not the whole.
It's literally
yeah, that's just reminding me 25 years ago.
Sorry, Lingy's just mugged you off.
Love that.
But that would have been Fox hair braid then. So it's been in the Fox range, bloody hell, nearly
Long
3
time.
decades.
Yeah.
Maybe we need to get on it.
Yeah.
And would you say something about you seeing the terminal tackle or something?
Seeing the terminal tackle,
I think that you'd see a lot of things where people would reference to them, like, oh, they've seen that, they've noticed that, they've off it. We've got footage of them just swimming down the leaders, the lead core's off its peck, it's running down, they've got the nose underneath it and stuff. Don't really think to give a shit.
It's just debris, I think, to them.
Exactly that. Exactly that.
This confirms this. A long time ago, back when Blackthorn Fisheries didn't have cabins, I did a feature there with Smithy, and Jason Umley from Total Carp was doing the feature with him. And Jay said, "Oh, Smithy, bring your rig in so we can just do a Photoshop." He goes, "Yeah, I eat." Brings it in, and this, honest to God, I was like, "The hell is that, Smithy?" So on the top of the hook, where you'd normally have your shrink tube or a liner, he's got a size 10 tail rubber rammed onto the top of the hook as his liner, right? Yeah, picture it. And he goes, "There you go, Jace, get on that." And even Jace is like, "How have you caught 3 fish on that?"
We're not photographing that.
He's like, "How have you caught 3 fish on that?" And typical Smithy, he's like, "It be reet, get it out."
Remember the days when anti-tangle tubing used to be them like stiff booms? Remember that, like stiff plastic?
Totally used to
yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of the Eastern European guys still using that sort of stuff. Yeah, because it stabilises your lead in flight.
Yeah, we used to use them with
and the
zip leads,
anti-tangle.
remember?
It's
Old
so
zip
good.
leads.
Mm.
Yeah.
Good times. So, guys, moving on now, we've got competition time. So if you'd like to get your hands on 100 quid's worth of Fox Terminal tackle, in the comments on this video, all we want to know is who would you like to see as a guest here?
Sorry to interrupt you, Dean, but Mark did say he was going to put £100 of RG baits in on this special competition as well.
Oh, right. Well, there you go.
Did he?
Oh, no.
I thought you just sprung that on him.
All right. I can do that.
We said that,
There you
did we
go.
say
Oh,
the
yeah.
last one? We're
Yeah,
getting to do
good
some
point.
tickets to a raffle as well.
No, it's £100 of Fox edges and £100 of RG baits. I
2
think Mark
pots of
said.
pop-up.
There you go.
Yeah.
That is a hell of a prize.
Two pots of hand roll pop-ups.
Okay, so to get your hand on a lot of kit, as you've just heard, you've got all that to
Wow,
win
that's a
now.
great prize.
Amazing prize.
Thanks, Mark.
Yeah, cheers, Mark.
You're welcome.
It's gritted teeth here. Just let us know in the comments what guest you would like to see on the Always Carp Fishing Podcast. Get your answers below and make sure you are a member of the syndicate as well. The link is in the comments. Hit that link and we'll see you over there. Other than that, Mark, thank you ever so much for coming
Pleasure.
into the podcast,
Thank you
mate.
for having me on.
It's been amazing. And guys, thank you once again. That's another one done.
Cheers.
Cheers, Mark.
Cheers, Mark.
you.
Well done.
Cheers, guys.
Everyone.
Cheers.